Hey everyone, this is my 2019 discectomy review. I'm now day 2 post-surgery, and the pain is different. The pain that I had that went down my leg is no longer, but the pain in my back is excruciating from the surgery. I did have a discectomy on my L5-S1 disc. It was a pretty large protrusion. It protruded out and it hit the nerve that went down my left leg. And it was excruciating. That pain was also just as bad. The injury that I had happened in December of 2017, and I waited a long time to actually get it fixed. I kept putting it off, and I ended up doing physical therapy, some steroid injections, and if you've never had a steroid injection in your back, as soon as they take the needle and they poke it in your lower back, I almost jumped off the table when they did that. It was awful. It didn't really help, I would say. Initially, it didn't seem to make any change in the nerve pain that went down my leg, but a few weeks after that, it did kind of relieve some of the pressure. So I don't know if it was from the steroid injections or if it was from something else. Anyway, so yeah, I did physical therapy. I saw a chiropractor. There's a chiropractor that I go to that I trust. He's got a decompression table system that is supposed to heal these types of injuries. The only bad part about that is insurance doesn't usually cover this specific machine. So if I were to go that route, I would have had to pay, I believe it was $8,500 or something out of pocket. And I couldn't justify that and not have some kind of guarantee or something like that it would work. I've got friends that have gone that route. Some have had some success, and some have been going for a number of years, and they still have the same issue. So I didn't feel comfortable going down that route, although I would have preferred that over surgery. The physical therapy that I did stuff from the chiropractor, stuff that he recommended. I get on YouTube a lot. There's a lot that I feel like can be learned from YouTube. One specific video that talked about sciatica pain and this type of injury with bulged discs was one from Athlean X, and he went through 3 different exercises that's supposed to alleviate this pain, and if you stay up on it and keep doing it, that it can help this type of injury, or at least pull the disc back in enough that it's not gonna pinch that nerve. I tried that for a little while, and that didn't seem to help too much. Part of the problem was my disc was actually ruptured, and it had ruptured to the point where it was about the size of the tip of the doctor's finger that had come out of my disc and was pinching that nerve. So that made it really tough for any type of physical therapy or anything like that to make any difference, because I just couldn't get it to pull back in like it needed to. I saw multiple different doctors for the same thing. I didn't really want to take surgery as the answer, especially back surgery. It's always a big deal when you're talking back surgery, and I've heard horror stories. There's videos all over the place here on YouTube of horror stories of back surgery, but there's also a lot of good ones. Some of the ones that I've watched on here have been from 2017, and I'm not sure how much technology has changed since 2017 from 2019, but I felt it would be fair for me to review something more recent and post it on here. So like I said, my initial injury happened in December 2017. I was working around the house, and I had bent over. I was almost in full flexion, working down by my feet, and I heard and felt this pop, and it was instant pain and fire down my left leg. I had to stand up, lay down on the floor, really stretch it out. I had no idea at the time what happened. I thought maybe I just had slipped a vertebrae or something. Anyway, but that was painful. That was excruciating at that point too. It hurt for a few days, pretty significantly, and then it just kind of went away a little bit. And then as time progressed from there, it just kept getting progressively worse and worse. I was going to the gym, I was running, and every single time I go to the gym, I would get a sciatica pain in my left glute, and I couldn't figure out why that was happening. So I was doing stretches, and I was doing different types of exercises to try and help alleviate that, and it just never went away. So I thought it was whatever it was that I was doing at the gym, and so I would be really cautious about that, and the pain just still persisted. In that time, I ended up changing jobs. I was a packaging plant manager at a company here in Salt Lake City. And then I moved within the same company to be a project manager. So I was at a desk a lot of the days, so sitting down, which only made things worse. Sitting down for a long period of time when you have this type of injury really inflames the part that pinches on the nerve. Anyway, so I did that for about a year, and then just recently had switched to another company where I'm an operations manager making plastic bottles. So I still am at a desk, not nearly as much as I was as a project manager, but I can get out on the production floor and move around, which helped. But I still didn't like the fact that I couldn't do some of the activities that I was used to doing. I'm a pretty active guy. I like to get out and enjoy nature, snowboarding, wakeboarding, ride motorcycles. And these are all things that this disc injury really hindered. I couldn't do a lot of what I used to without pain anyway. With snowboarding, I had come to the conclusion with wakeboarding and snowboarding that as long as I was up and moving and keeping my hips fluid, that it didn't really hurt as bad, but I would always pay for it either that night or the next day. So I was going to be in pain anyway, so I just told myself I might as well, continue to have fun and continue to be active. Anyway. So yeah, I ended up scheduling surgery. I was going to have surgery last August, so this would have been August 2018. And then in the beginning of July, we found out that my wife was pregnant with our first child. So I didn't want to max out my insurance twice, have surgery this year, and then max it out again the next year with the baby. So I just had decided I was going to kind of babysit it and not let it bother me until after the first of the year, and then we could make more, I guess, better financial decisions, which is kind of unfortunate that that's got to be part of the criteria for something like this, especially when it hinders your life as much as it does. So yeah, I waited sometime past September, October. I was feeling pretty good. It didn't really bother me too much. And I started going to the gym, and I was lifting weights and trying to be just real cautious, real careful with my back. And I ended up doing it was a shoulder day. I was doing some kettlebell swings to work the backs of my shoulders. And I moved wrong, twisted wrong, and it just killed me. My lower back at that point was awful. So yeah, I had stopped going to the gym. Life was kind of bland, I guess you could say. I still went snowboarding. There was not going to be anything that was going to keep me away from snowboarding. But yeah, it was rough. So I ended up finding a doctor. I found a doctor at they call it the TOSH Center. So the Orthopedic Surgery Hospital. And that's here just south of Salt Lake City in Utah. And I met with a doctor there that he was surprised that I had waited as long as I did to have this corrected. And said that a lot of people, they won't last 2-3 weeks before the pain just gets the best of them, and they have to get it fixed. So I scheduled that out. I've got all my time at work worked out, and they told me that I would have surgery on Thursday, recoup on Friday, and then take the weekend. So today's Saturday. So I had surgery this last Thursday, and then be back to work on Monday. It seemed almost too good to be true, which I guess I'll have to see how I feel on Monday if I'm going to return back to work or not. But at the moment, I don't think it's going to happen. Standing up is pretty painful. The nerve pain that went down my leg is 100% gone. There is still some pain that I have in my glute, and I think that's just because the area is inflamed. But as I mentioned before, the doctor, when he went in for the surgery, he removed a piece that was about the tip of his finger. So it was a pretty significant portion of the disc that it protruded out and was hitting that nerve. But it was the surgery was a success. He said he was able to clear everything out of there, close it up. They did a microdiscectomy, so they just made the real small incision, went in with a microscope and just trimmed out that piece that was hitting the nerve, and then cleaned it up so it stayed in there nice and tight. The first night, my wife, she's been taking really good care of me. I've got my dogs here that they like to keep me company, but the first night she had woken me up twice in the middle of the night to take my pain medication at the time that I was supposed to take it. I was feeling pretty good the second day, so I didn't find that it was necessary to do that again the second night, which would have been this last night. And it turns out that it makes a huge difference if you gap out the pain medications like that. And I was in so much pain this morning, I couldn't stand up to go use the restroom this morning. But I feel like I've got it back under control. The last 2 doses I haven't missed. I've been right on schedule. And it's helped. Standing up was really hard. I took a shower this morning. That was tough. My wife had to help me with that. My throat is still pretty sore from where they stuck the air tube down there while I was in surgery and helped me breathe while I was out. But other than that, I'll continue to do reviews and how I feel. Right now I'm just laid up on the couch. I am on my back, as you can see. It hurts pretty bad to lay down on the incision. But last night while I was sleeping, I tried to lay on my side, and that was even worse. I have not attempted anything on my stomach. But other than that, it's going to be a process to get back in the game. It'll be tough for sure. But yeah, I'll keep everybody updated in how this goes. If you're thinking about it, feel free to send me any messages or anything like that, and I'll let you know what my experience had been with whatever you have a question about. Maybe you can make a decision that's best for you. But where I was at, I felt like surgery was a proper option. I felt really comfortable with the doctor. Everything that he told me, I watched videos of the procedure, both animated and non-animated. And I just felt like it was the right way to go. So far, so good with the nerve aspect of it. But again, as I mentioned, the back is still pretty painful. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. Go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any updated videos as I send them out. But I'll continue to do these. Thanks, guys.